Hi guys, here's a random item to take apart. One of those starters for a strip light. It's laying on my desk, so I thought, let's have a look inside. I expect Big Clive has done a teardown on one of these. Okay. Well, there's not a lot to look at there, is there? I'm not going to break that. That looks like a capacitor of some sort. I guess what I'll have to do is Google it and find some suitable little diagrams that shows how it works. So I understand it, it just sort of generates a spike of electricity or a spark to start the fluorescent tubes running. Yeah, not very exciting. I was hoping for a little bit more to look at. But not in this case. I'll do a bit of Googling. Oh, I suppose we should have a look at the writing on it. Thorn S10, made in Holland, single, 220, 240 volts, 4 to 65 watts. That says 6 volts there. Wonder what happens if we apply 6 volts to it. Well, I've done a bit of research, had a look at quite a few videos, and as usual, Big Clive has done one, which is probably the best one to look at, in my opinion, obviously. Yeah, this thing is basically a little, I was going to say neon lamp, or argon, I think he said the gas was, with AC across it. It glows and warms up. And what you've actually got between the two terminals is you've got a bimetallic strip, which, as it heats up while the lamp is glowing, it goes across and it actually shorts the lamp out. And then obviously when the current stops, the lamp cools down and it releases again. But that's what you've actually got in there. You've got a bimetallic strip that heats up, moves across, and shorts out the two terminals there. This capacitor is just to stop any radio interference by that sparking or shorting out, which will cause a spark. But how does that make it actually light the fluorescent lamp? Well, to avoid any copyright things, I shall draw my own version. Again, fully recommend Big Clive's explanation. I'll put a link to his video in my video description. First of all, we will draw a fluorescent tube. In that fluorescent tube, there is a gas which will only pass electricity when it's warmed up. So you need to warm the gas. When electricity is flowing through the gas, it's actually glowing. I think, ultraviolet. But what that does is that hits the coating that's on the inside of the glass, and that coating on the inside of the glass is excited by the ultraviolet and glows white, which is why you have a white fluorescent light. So the actual electricity flowing through the gas is not the white light that you see. The white light is the coating, which I think is phosphor or something, rather like the inside of the old television tubes, being excited by the ultraviolet light created by the electricity flowing through the gas. Anyway, at each end of it, we've got a little bit like a tungsten lamp, a coil at each end, and when current is flowing through that coil, it's heating the gas. This thing we'll show it up on top so we can see where it is, and most of the diagrams I've seen show it something like this, the bimetallic strip there, so that when it heats up it moves across and shorts out. So that comes down there, and then obviously we want AC flowing into this. Just leave a little gap there at the moment. Down here, and we'll have a little on-off switch as well. Okay, and then across here we have our AC flowing. At the moment, it's not flowing, it's not going anywhere, because we've got a gap just there. What's in that gap? They call it a ballast in some things, or you could almost call it a transformer, but it's not. A coil. When current flows through a coil, it generates a magnetic field. I've just shown an iron bar there. With AC current, it will be generating an alternating magnetic field. But let's just think of it, current flows through, magnetic field created. So what happens? Switch it on. AC flows around here, gets to this, which I should have put a little bulb around it, which, as I say, is effectively a little lamp, argon lamp, which AC will excite the gas in there and make it glow. It doesn't. There's no circuit through there at the moment. There's a gap, but because we use an AC and the gas in there is exciting the gas, making it glow, which makes it heat up, and it heats up. That bimetallic strip goes across, shorts that out. When it shorts that out, then the current increases, because while the lamp's just glowing, there's not much current flowing through. But when we've got a short circuit there, the current flows through these coils, and these heat up. So they're heating up, heating the gas, but there's still no discharge through there, electrical discharge, because it's easier for the electricity to flow through the short circuit there, or when it's not a short circuit, it's easier to flow through the excited gas there, because it's a smaller amount of gas, a little bit of gas compared to a big tube. Okay, so we got to that point, we've shorted it out, current's flowing through, that one's heating up, that one's heating up, this gas is heating up. But when that shorts out, that lamp goes out, so that will cool down again. when that cools down, we get a break in the circuit. Break in the circuit causes the magnetic field that's been created by the current flowing through there to break down, or collapse, which they like to say. When it collapses, it tries to prevent the collapse by inducing electric current in the opposite direction to the collapse. So that actually creates a high voltage back spike, and if it's high enough at the right time, the gas in here is fully excited and the current will then flow through the gas there. Does that make sense? Seems to make sense. This doesn't just go on and off once, it's going on and off quite a bit, so you get a lot of sparks or back spikes, which is why your fluorescent light often flickers at the beginning until it strikes a good path through the ionized gas. Once it's actually going, it keeps going. Remember, this is AC, so it's going both directions. If it was only flowing one way, then one of these incandescent coils will eventually burn out before the other one does. But if it's going AC, then they'll both wear down at the same rate. I think that explains it. Like I said, in the video description, link to Big Clive's video and a few others. Big Clive explains it beautifully and goes on to explain the more complicated versions. I'm just disappointed that's silvered over and we can't actually see what's inside. One of the videos I'll link to is by somebody who's got one that you can actually see through, and he's got a nice close-up picture of it, and you can see it glowing and see it moving across and shorting out. Okay, that's it. I'll finish my cup of tea now. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.